The National Youth Service is quickly acquiring a reputation as the newest and easiest money-minting organization within government. The Youth Service, initially meant to align the country's young population to the nation-building agenda, is now the preserve of corrupt officials who continue to empty the coffers for their own good. NTV's Brenda Wanga traces the origins of the service and its spiral towards graft.
Every year, the National Youth Service churns out thousands of recruits, men and women trained on the government's tab to participate in nation building. That was the main motivation when the country's premier parliament, just after independence, enacted laws that birthed NYS. Then, like now, the agenda was to equip young Kenyans with paramilitary training alongside the acquisition of basic skills in various fields before they joined the university to study for their preferred courses. And that seemed to work, at least for 20 years after independence. But the glory of the NYS started to fade in the mid-80s. Funds to the service dwindled, and so did the number of recruits. Indeed, right before the revamp of the service, less than 5,000 recruits would enroll yearly into the NYS.
These young people are expected to mentor and work with more than 200,000 of their neighbors in nation-building work.
The Jubilee government wanted to change this when it took over government in 2013. In 2014, the NYS was then rebranded and relaunched. Aside from an increase in the number of recruits, now standing at over 21,000 recruits yearly, there was also an expanded mandate for the youth service to include the provision of labor for slum upgrading and civil works and security and traffic duties. It is from this point that many believe that the rot in NYS started taking root. The monumental increase in numbers and the need to deliver projects very fast opened up the systems that had worked well in the past to abuse. The results of this flouting of the laws and procedures of procurement turned the NYS supplies and procurement departments into the new cash cows that have left the taxpayer reeling in multi-billion scandals. Twice in the span of less than 3 years, the country has been notified of the blatant theft of funds from the organization by well-connected people hiding behind fictitious companies. And now, some legislators are questioning the continued need for the NYS as currently constituted.
Personally, I would think it is time to fold, because we cannot be putting resources where it's going into people's pockets. And it is evident now, but we cannot have it the first time, the second time, the third time. And I think these are some of the very tough decisions we have to make, because unfortunately, NYS has also helped people. But you see, the problem is that the leadership or the people who are there seem to be using it as a cash cow.
The NYS remains one of the government outfits that receives colossal amounts of money for the implementation of its well-intentioned programs, but it is also fast gaining notoriety for the astonishing levels of gluttony exhibited by a few corrupt individuals who are hell-bent on ensuring that a huge chunk of those amounts of money end up in their pockets. Brenda Wanga, NTV, Nairobi.